Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. In today's episode, Volusia County Libraries are offering patrons a chance to settle past late fines with donated canned goods. We'll get an update on the troubling practice of lasing or lasering airplanes, and the spirit of the season will once again illuminate at the Ocean Center. In Volusia Here and Now, Kendra Lee takes us to the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet. And then in Solutions for Your Life, David Griffis gives us a glimpse at the teaching landscape at the Agriculture Center. And finally, joining Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio is Rob Ehrhardt, Director of Volusia County's Economic Development. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I hope you stay tuned. Here's a novel way to pay off your library fines. Volusia County's 13 public library branches will be accepting food for fines through Saturday, November 28th. Patrons with late fees will receive a $1 reduction of overdue fines up to $25 for each undamaged, unexpired, boxed, or canned non-perishable food item they bring to the library. Donated food will be used to refill local food banks. The Food for Fines program is part of the 5th annual Feed the Need food drive spearheaded by Volusia County government.
Well, this is our 3rd year for Food for Fines, and last year more than 960 library card holders who had fines took advantage of Food for Fines and donated more than 11,000 items. And in turn, we waived more than $6,300 worth of fines. Now, of course, the community was very generous, and a lot of the items donated was more than what they owed in fines. And some of our library patrons who didn't owe us any fines donated food for the cause as well. And so we're always very pleased with the generosity of our library users during this time.
County employees are joining with other public employees from Volusia County Schools, Daytona State College, the Florida Department of Health, and other local cities to see which organization can collect the most food per full-time employee. Last year, the food drive collected more than 110,000 pounds, including more than 12,000 of those pounds from the library's Food for Fines program. There's a growing safety problem in the airline industry involving lasers being pointed at airplanes. Nationally, the number of laser strikes on planes is growing, even as the federal government enacts tougher penalties for people caught shining the devices. Recently, federal authorities field reports of 20 laser strikes on aircraft in less than 24 hours, adding to an already record-breaking number of strikes this year. The Federal Aviation Administration recorded 5,352 laser strikes through October, up from 2,837 for all of 2010.
People don't really realize the significant safety risk that these lasers pose for aircraft. A lot of people will point them up at aircraft that are low altitudes, during a critical phase of flight when they're either getting ready to land or have just taken off. And they hit the cockpit glass and it lights up the cockpit, and if this happens at nighttime, it can really be detrimental to the pilot's nighttime vision.
Daytona Beach International Airport had 11 laser incidents over the summer alone.
We see the most activity over the summertime or during times of special events. It's usually isolated to the beach side. It was really initiated by the tower. They came to us and asked if we would increase awareness or patrols out on the beach side because they were receiving so many unauthorized pilot reports of these lasers. It's a collaborative effort really between Daytona Beach Air Traffic Control Tower, airport operations, the airport, local law enforcement through Volusia County Sheriff's Office, and Daytona Beach Police Department.
Airport officials urge anyone who sees activity dealing with lasers pointed towards aircraft to call 911. For the 5th year in a row, Volusia County residents and visitors can celebrate the holiday season at Light Up Volusia. Light Up Volusia is a festive holiday tree lighting event, which is Saturday, November 28th at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. The family fun starts at 5 p.m. with entertainment that includes performances by local musical groups, children's activities, a community showcase with area businesses and agencies, and a man cave area showing football games. And the night wouldn't be complete without a visit from Santa and Mrs. Claus. Just after 7 p.m., area dignitaries will flip the light switch for the ornate 40-foot holiday tree, complete with beach-themed decor, and Sandy the Seahorse, the official mascot of Light Up Volusia.
We do know it is Thanksgiving weekend, but there are a lot of activities going on in the entire area, so we're hoping to pull those guests from the turkey rod run, the football activities to the Ocean Center. It is a great weekend that we kick off the holidays. Please come out, bring your family, bring your kids and grandkids. You'll really enjoy it. It is a free event, and there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of other activities going on in the area. We have plenty of parking, and we'd love to see you to celebrate the holidays with the Ocean Center of the County of Volusia.
This is a free community event, and for more information, you can call the Ocean Center at 386-254-4500. Learning about Volusia County's rich environment and native marine life has never been easier than visiting the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet. Reporter Kendra Lee highlights this hidden gem in this week's Volusia Here and Now.
If you follow the Halifax River down the coast of South Atlantic Avenue, you'll not only run into the Ponce de Leon Lighthouse, but also the Marine Science Center, located at 100 Lighthouse Drive in Ponce Inlet. Known to many, but still a hidden gem to others, the Marine Science Center offers an engaging and educational experience to their visitors.
Well, the Marine Science Center opened in June of 2002, so for about the last 13 years we've been open to the public, and it's been a tremendously rewarding experience. Because we're focusing on what's here in Volusia County, we have exhibits that focus on different parts of the various marine environments. So like right here behind me, we've got the mangrove exhibit. You know, mangroves play such an important role in the nursery ground for the various marine life that we have here.
While exploring other parts of the MSC, you have a chance to actually engage with the exhibits. One of the biggest hits for children and adults alike are the two touch pools. One touch pool features stingrays and small sharks, where the other is an invertebrate pool.
We developed what we call our invertebrate touch pool. So this focuses on the animals without backbones, thus invertebrates, and they are organisms like sea cucumbers and starfish, more properly known as sea stars, and sea urchins. And so there's lots of different organisms that people can actually handle underneath the water and have a chance to feel what it's like to have a sea urchin start to move across your hand.
But the MSC is more than just a public educational facility. They also operate two different hospitals, a wildlife hospital for sea turtles and another hospital for various birds.
We also have the opportunity for visitors to actually see the sea turtles that we have into our sea turtle hospital. So we have an area where you can actually look over and into the pools, and you can see the various sea turtles that we have in at any particular time. We also have another opportunity for visitors to see what's going on through a window that looks into our sea turtle hospital, where you can actually see the staff and our veterinarian actually working on the sea turtles, and from just a few feet away. So it's a really extraordinary opportunity for visitors to see what it takes to get these animals rehabilitated and hopefully released back to the wild.
This year alone, the Marine Science Center has released 31 sea turtles into their natural habitats.
Since we first opened in 2002, we've taken care of over 17,000 sea turtles. And in our bird hospital, we've taken care of over 13,000 birds since it first opened a little bit later in 2004.
The bird hospital rehabilitates various owls, brown pelicans, wood storks, and more. Though the bird hospital portion of the center is not open to the public, Many of the rehabilitated birds are glove trained and have been worked into educational programs.
Visitors can come, and every day we have various programs, and they can get as close as you and I are to a great horned owl or to some of the other raptors that we have, and are able to do programming with them and allow people to get closer than they ever could to some of these wonderful animals that are right here in Volusia County.
Visitors may view the Turtle Hospital, walk through the marine display areas, and enjoy the various touch pools from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, and noon to 4 p.m. on Sunday. For more information on the center, or to find out when the next turtle release will be, visit marinesciencecenter.com. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Kendra Lee.
Today on Solutions for Your Life, David Griffis, the Director and Natural Resources Agent with the University of Florida Extension in Volusia County, discusses the new demonstration and teaching landscape at the Agricultural Center.
Hello, my name is David Griffis. I'm the University of Florida IFAS Extension County Extension Director, and today we would like to update you on the ECHO grant that we received at the Volusia County Agricultural Center. Please join us on Thursday, December 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for an open house of our ECHO gardens. The Volusia County Agricultural Center received an ECHO grant, and the purpose of this grant was to develop sustainable building practices and also to showcase our Florida-friendly landscape design principles. So come out, visit the gardens. We will have lectures by master gardeners and also by UF IFAS faculty. There will be refreshments served for those that come. Some of the things that you will see will be a water garden. We have two different types of water gardens. We have a beautiful, aesthetically nice water garden that you can have around your landscape. We also have collected rainwater off of our roofs that we place that rainwater into a nice rain barrel, and then that water flows into a nice rain garden. So you can see how we do that. We also have cisterns that were developed that we receive runoff off of our roofs. We use that runoff to water our gardens and our landscaping. You will also be able to see our gardens. And our gardens, our vegetable garden, was designed so that the homeowner can use high-intensity gardening principles in their small yards to produce a lot of product. We have raised beds, we have trellises, we also have various types of products that we'll be growing vegetables in that we can showcase. That gives the homeowner a different perspective in growing a vegetable garden in small spaces. Stay with us in 2016 as we continue to do segments on various landscaping projects that you may be able to use around your home. With Solutions for Your Life, this is David Griffis.
Time now to head into the studio to join our very own Community Information Director, Dave Byron, as he sits down with Rob Earhart, Director of Economic Development.
Well, thank you, Amber, and hi, everyone. Well, the economic news across the country and here in Volusia County continues to be very positive, but there also continues to be an atmosphere of a little bit of caution. Today, we'll take a look at the key economic influences for the local economy as we look at the July, August, and September quarter. We're pleased to have with us in the studio Rob Ehrhardt. He's the director of the county's Economic Development Division. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thanks so much for having me.
Having had you on the program for 3 months. So we bring you in, seriously, we bring you in every quarter because you and your staff, you do keep your pulse on what's going on locally as well as what's going on nationally. I always like to start off with kind of what you might describe as a national landscape or a bigger picture. So as you look at the economy, look at the indicators across the country, maybe even across the world, what do you think?
Well, starting with the big picture, Dave, I'm going to do something a little different this time. There's a leading research firm, Yardeni Research, and Ed Yardeni, the president of that firm, has characterized current economic conditions as a twilight zone between boom and bust. And I'm going to reinforce that here with a tune that I'm not sure all of our...
You are now about to enter the twilight zone.
Yes, sir. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You really, before you get to a bust, you have to hit a boom. And I don't think anybody believes that the national or the global economy is at a boom. Some examples of that. World economy, I think everybody understands there are some challenges taking place, but generally the U.S. economy is still pretty strong.
Right.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, Ron, but it may be fair to say the U.S. economy may be the strongest in the world today.
It is probably what's holding up the
right.
national economy. 70% of the national economy is consumerism, and so people's concern about, or their level of optimism is coming down, is declining. But gas prices are almost at a all-time low for some of the people that are now driving. So there's data points like that to suggest, as you've already mentioned, that there's reason to be a little cautious as we look forward. But again, I'm not trying to paint a picture of doom and gloom here nationally. Florida, on the other hand,
it's on fire.
Florida's still doing well.
Yeah.
I think most of our readers know UCF economist Sean Snaith, and so he's recently characterized the Florida economy as like one of the current boy bands, One Direction, and that One Direction is up.
Up, okay.
And he's got some teenage daughters, so they're part of that family's story. And locally, we continue to hear positive things from local business owners.
Rob, speaking about this caution for a second, do you think that part of this little bit of hesitation or a little bit of caution is as a result of the economic period that we have come out of? I mean, in other words, we had that great period of pretty tough times the last 5, 6, 7 years ago. Do you think people are still a little bit cautious as a result of that?
Yeah, it's tough to put your finger on. As an example, consumer optimism, I made reference to that. UF has a tracking mechanism for that. So currently the number is 84, 85. That's up as compared to where it was a year ago, but it's down from where we were in March. And so, the economy is so complex, and
right.
People's view of it is really depending on their point of view, from where they're coming from. Their job is such that they're still feeling like there isn't job security for some reason, yet unemployment is at an all-time low. The number of unemployed is down to just over 13,000. And there are plenty of jobs being posted by local companies. So,
it strikes me, Rob, in listening to you many times and reading and all of that, that now the economy is truly a global economy, and something that impacts us may have started in China or may have started in the Middle East. And so I think of gas prices, for example. You mentioned, I think they're down below $2 as we're talking today. And so for us, I mean, that's a good thing. I'm not putting as much money into my gas tank, but yet that means that the oil producers, right, in the Middle East and so forth, are not selling as much oil and not getting as much per barrel, and that has a negative impact. So I don't know whether lower gas prices are good or bad.
Well, it certainly impacts the local, or I should say the U.S. oil and gas industry. If you're reading in any business trade journals about layoffs, a good number of those are coming from that particular industry for the reason you've cited.
Let's focus in on some of the indicators, Rob, that you watch. Among those locally are the building permit numbers. They look pretty good. What's the story?
Well, commercial building permits, again, I think that's a reflection maybe of where we are in the economy. Some concern about should businesses are more profitable, but we see more and more businesses, or we hear about more and more businesses, not necessarily locally, but across the U.S., hoarding cash. Locally, I think businesses are taking advantage of still great bargains on local commercial existing real estate. So they're repurposing some of the existing facilities, but we're not necessarily seeing an increase in new construction permits. In fact, those are down as compared to the same time a year ago. On the residential side, however, though, still a very strong market. New construction residential permits in terms of numbers and in dollars are up 8.8% and 11.8% compared to the same quarter a year ago. That's very strong. And that's against resales. I've just recently learned that the number of resales for September of 2015 are up 10.8% as compared to the same month a year ago. And the price of those is up over 15%. So the housing market is still very strong and growing.
And as we saw in in the Great Recession, Rob, Volusia County, the state of Florida, is so dependent on growth. And if people can't move here, because they can't sell their properties or whatever in other parts of the country, then that does have an impact on us locally. And so today, people are back, moving to Florida.
It does, and it goes back to reinforce our earlier comment about point of view. If you're in the Mid-Atlantic or the Northeast, and you've just suffered through two, what I think most people would agree are pretty brutal winters, and you're looking here in November at going into yet another, I'm not sure what the motivation is to stay or not to stay, but we're open for business here in Florida. We'd love to have them.
I was going to say, I made that decision almost 40 years ago. I figured that out a long time ago. I moved down here from the Northeast. Hey, you mentioned that the job picture looks real good in Volusia County.
It does. Unemployment rate is 5.5%. I think it's important to remember where we came from. So again, a year ago, September 2014, it was 6.5%.
Wow.
So we're down a full percentage point, and as I mentioned, the number of unemployed just over 13,000, and actually the number of employed is over 226,000. That's the first time we've hit that number since March, April of 2009.
All good.
All good.
Hey, Rob, obviously as we talk about, you know, the local economy, we've mentioned this on previous interviews, manufacturing is an important element of the county's economy, and our manufacturers these days seem to be doing very well.
Manufacturers are doing very well. One in particular, Hudson Technologies, they're getting ready to celebrate their 75th anniversary. Wow. Not all here, but they're, again, an example of a company that decided, hey, I can be more effective and more profitable by relocating from where they were in the Midwest. The recent VMA event that was the expo at EmbryRiddle's ICI Center, great turnout, and again, there are quite a number of manufacturing jobs available, some of which are you know, skilled positions that
Right.
require some level of experience, but not all of those do. And the average annual wage in manufacturing is over $45,000. So it's not a job. It can be a great career for
Absolutely.
someone who's so inclined to you know, pursue that.
You mentioned EmbryRiddle. You know, there's another organization that's celebrating an anniversary from when they moved from Miami up to Volusia County, and virtually every day we see more and more signs that EmbryRiddle is a true economic catalyst for this area with what they do over there at that university.
We are so fortunate in Volusia County to have two economic engines.
Right.
You know, that's a pun intended. We've got the Speedway obviously on one side, and we've got aircraft engines on the other. And to your point, the economic impact of EmbryRiddle as a university here in our community is just remarkable.
You know, perhaps by the next time we talk, Rob, the $400 million expansion of Daytona International Speedway into truly a year-round event venue now is startling, and they're just about to wrap up that project that it has really been, I mean, your office is right around the corner, and it's been an amazing thing to watch as that new facility has come together.
They've done a phenomenal job of continuing to put on their signature event through the course of that almost 3-year renovation, and I'm really looking forward to when it is all said and done, them sharing and capturing for us all just exactly what the impact of that has been in terms of numbers of jobs, people that have come into the community and been here for that period of time that would not have been here otherwise, and especially looking forward, the focus that they've got on continuing to maximize the capabilities, right. The new capabilities of that motorsports stadium for other events like we've recently heard announced the Country 500 over the Memorial Day holiday weekend.
Right, and we've related to that, Rob, as you look in front of the Speedway on International Speedway Boulevard, the gateway coming into Daytona Beach, as you come in, you see some tremendous activity around the interchange and so forth. They've done a lot of work on ISB. You've mentioned in the past that this road construction work that the DOT is doing in this region, in and of itself, is a major economic positive for this community.
Hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent by on these transportation projects, and again, there are jobs directly related to those projects, and I know it's a bit of an imposition for us now as residents as we traverse right. those roads, but positioning us for greater things in the future, and certainly whether it's leading to the Speedway or some of the other great things that we have going on in our community in the DeLand area, the
right.
DeBerry area. You know, we really have reason to be optimistic, I believe, looking forward.
You know, you mentioned the DeLand area. When you look at the building permit numbers over the last year or two, the land is right at the top.
It's such a great city, and they've done such a remarkable job at managing their growth, but at the same time being business friendly and embracing developers who do want to come in and take advantage of building all those new houses.
Rob, I just can't stand all the good news. Really, I mean, this has been a good year in Volusia County. We've got a new airline coming in. Starting in January, JetBlue comes in with direct service from Daytona Beach to JFK in New York. I've heard just about everyone say that could truly open the gates at Daytona Beach International Airport. I mean, that's a big deal.
I know local residents are looking forward to being able to fly out of Daytona to New York nonstop. But as a person in the economic development realm, I am most excited about the people in New York being able to fly nonstop into Daytona, really get a firsthand look at our compelling value proposition, take that back the same day if that's what they want to do, or spend a few days, and then figure out how to spend some of their money in that investment community here in our area.
And related to that, last question, our tourism industry also seems to be doing extremely well. I think the resort tax collections are coming in at record numbers, which is all well and good for an area that really depends on tourism.
Absolutely. The strategy that community leaders put in place so many years ago, I think is now really starting to gain real traction and really starting to have an impact, and again, reason for a brighter future in that area.
Rob, you have a lot of information in your division for folks out there that perhaps would like to speak with you or one of your staff or get some of the information that you have available. How do people do that?
Dave, they can call our office directly. This is in the 386 area code at 248-8048. Or if they prefer, they can go on our website, floridabusiness.org. That's Florida Business altogether. 4 key tabs, one of which is data and key reports, and there's a wealth of information there.
Well, Rob, fun to talk with you when things are going well, huh?
Dave, thanks for having me.
Our guest today, Rob Ehrhardt. He's the Economic Development Director for Volusia County. And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Hey, thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osmond. Have a wonderful evening.